Alright, so we want to move on to creating a post. So you see this section here where you can just put in the cursor and write whatever you want to write, and then upload an image, and then just click upload, and then you'd get your post, right? We want to be able to do that now. So what we are going to do is we're quickly going to go into the home page. That's where I can direct myself to the right side, and then I think news feed, then where else, upload posts, right? Yeah, it's upload posts, right? So inside the upload post component, this is where we are basically going to be implementing it, right? So what are we going to start with? We are going to start by taking in the values, right? So how do we take in the values? We need a bunch of use states variables, okay, that we can use in general, okay? So in order for us to do that, let's say const, then then we take in the file. We could also take in a disk, but let's take the description first. So, or the caption, right? However we want to put it. It was description where we named it inside the database, so let's not confuse ourselves and use description, right? So set disk, and then we'll give that a use state. Wait, what? I mean use state, right? Give that a use state, and then we set that to an empty string. Okay, now that I've been able to do that, I would want to set another use state to the file. So const, I'll say const file set file. It has to be a small letter. Okay, so set file. Okay, then equal to use state, which is going to be set to null. Okay, alright, so now that we have this, I'd want to go into let me check my mic. Alright, I would want to come here right under this and add an input, right? So we can say input, and this is going to be a file. So you let me just input file, straightforward, right? So file. Then now that it's here, we'd go to the description part too as well, which is this one. I think it's this one. Yeah, input text, right? Then we'd add an unchange. Would add an unchange, which is going to take, which is going to which is going to take e, and then I would set disk to be e.target the value, right? So I set a description to be e.target.value, and then now that I have that set up, I can just copy this one and then paste it here. So here I can say file. Yeah, I can say file as well. Then over here we set file to be this e.target.file, right? So e.target.file. Okay, then once we do this, it would basically select all the files or all the image and videos that we decide to select or choose, right? Now because we don't want to do that and we basically want to take just the first one, what we will do is we just bring this array here and then we pass in 0, then that should be it, right? then at the end of the day we should be able to collect just the first file inside a bunch of files. Let's say in case we select a bunch of files by mistake, we'll just take the first file out of it, right? Out of that array object, right? So now that we have this and we've been able to do this, we can even check to see if, oh no, that's not how it's supposed to be. Take this off, right? Why is it setting it up like this? Okay, yeah. So I can now take this off and take this off. Alright, so we need to, okay, so set file. Alright, so now when we log any of this, we should see it taking the description value, for instance, and then when I log this one, as well, which is the file, you should see it taking the value, right? So I'm quickly going to go, yes, let's fix this one. Okay, but let's not fix it before, let's just check. So I'm quickly going to go to the console, right, and I'm quickly going to type in whatever I'm going to type. Now you can see that it's taking in the description. If I choose a picture or something, right, if I choose, let's say, this picture, you see that it gives us the object, right? So that's good. At least we can see that it's receiving the image, right? Now the next thing that we want to fix is, you can see that you have both the inputs and then the photo and video here, right? Now we want to be able to use this photo or video instead of this file input here, right? So how are we going to do that? I'll go back to VS Code. Let's take out these ones. I'll go back to VS Code. Then over here, I'll wrap this div. I'll change that div to a label, right? Then I'll say, okay, we need to change this part as well. Then I'll say HTML4. Then I'll give the ID, right? This ID, I'll pass this ID here, which is file. So that means now if I come and click this, it's also what opens this up for us to use. Okay, then how do we make sure that this one is missing or this one is not seen, so that it's just left with this for us to use, right? I'll basically come to this input, add a class name of what, hidden, then it's gone, right? So we can now perform our API call. Let us go up here and then say we need to be able to, okay, alright, that's cool. So over here we would say what, const handle, we'll say handle post upload. So for that we are going to make it an asynchronous function, and then try catch as well, right? Try catch as well. Then I would say that inside here is where I'm going to be using the call, right? So what do? I would go into the API.js, right, over here, and then we can use what we use. So I can basically copy this and then duplicate this and say upload posts. So upload post here is basically going to take in the post info or post data. Okay, so the post data, then we'll make sure that this is a post request, because I mean, if you check the routes here, up to create a post is a post request, right? So now that we set that up, we want to check. So if we are going to the post route, what are we using? We are using what? Create post, right? So here we can basically replace this create posts. Let's check it well. Oh yeah, just post. Okay, so now that we have this, we are not taking in any ID, so just create post. Then over here we are going to pass in what? The post data. All right, now there we are passing in the post data here. Let's quickly go back to our upload component, upload post component here. Now over here we can await, right? We can await, then we can await with the upload posts from the API, the upload post module, or a function from the API. Then we now pass in the post data, right? So how are we going to pass in the post data? We are going to say that we are first of all taking in the description. Let me check the model. Let me check the post model here. So post model here, description, right? So inside the upload, so description, I'm going to pass in what? Description as the value. And then for the, then we go back here to check for the what exactly, for the image. Yeah, for the image it just says img, right? So for the image, okay, I'll come here. So for the image, which is img, we are going to have to send in something. It could be an object or a string or whatever, but that is basically what we are about to set up right now, and so that we know how to handle our posts, right? But before we go into any of that, I wanted to quickly do a cross check. So over here you can see that we passed in this like this, we put it inside the object. Now that's a mistake, because if you pass it inside the object like this, and then inside your upload post here you also pass in another one, it's going to be like you just did it's going to be like you just did this, right? Which is obviously wrong. So you're just going to pass in the normal post data as the normal post data as the parameter, right? And then we are going to take in the argument as an object, right? And then with that we should be just fine. Okay, so over here we are now about to work on the image upload as promised. So basically we want to first of all go to the server side, for instance, and then we want to create a new folder here, and we'll call that config. Okay, so config, then inside config we are going to create a folder called Cloudinary, right? So we're basically going to be using Cloudinary to handle our image upload, right? So inside Cloudinary here, before we do anything, we need to install a few packages. Alright, now what are we going to install? We're going to say npm I Cloudinary. We are going to install Cloudinary storage as well. Cloudinary storage, but it's going to be okay. So Cloudinary, okay, then motor storage instead, motor storage Cloudinary. Alright, motor storage Cloudinary. Then we have, okay, we are going to have to install motor as well. So let's import the first few ones. So Cloudinary, let's install Malta. Alright, so Cloudinary is going to be required from the version 2 of the Cloudinary package. So v2, right? Now that we have this, we're going to import the Cloudinary storage. Okay, I don't want to, I just want to require first, then I'll come back to call it. So I'd require the Malta storage, Cloudinary, right? Then I'll just require from here, so Cloudinary storage, right? Alright, now that we have this, we can now come and import Malta. Require Malta. Alright, okay, now that we have this, Cloudinary .config, then we open up, then inside we have what? The cloud name. Okay, so the cloud name, then we also have what? The API key, right? And then we're going to have what? The API secret. Okay, now all of these ones we are going to use the process.env to access them. Process.env cloud name, then I can just copy this, use it here. So here I'm simply going to say API key, and then over here I'm simply going to say API secret. Alright, so now that we have this, I want to quickly come and say const storage, and then inside the storage I want to create a new Cloudinary storage, right? Then inside we pass in Cloudinary, and then we say what that is going to be Cloudinary. Then inside the params here, we are going to basically pass in the folder where we are going to save, right? But how do we know the folder we are going to save in? When I go back into the browser and I go into Cloudinary right now, and I come here, I think it should be, is it Media Explorer? Yeah, when I go to the Media Explorer, for instance, you can see we have a bunch of folders here we can use or integrate, right? So basically, when we see here, I have neural feed here, I have here first and infood and everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to basically say YT social app, and then I would save. Then inside this YT social app here, I'm going to pass in the same name, right? So I'm basically going to say YT YT social app as the folder. Then the resource type is obviously going to be what? an image. It's going to be an image, right? So now that we have this, we want to use Malta to parse it, right? So we want to parse it by saying Malta, then we open it up, passing the objects, so storage, we're going to your storage. Okay, then we now export everything. I think for this particular project we use the module pattern, right? Yeah, we use the module pattern. So what we can do is we can basically just export what Cloudinary, and we can export what parser as well. Parser. Alright, now that we have this all set up, let us go to the post service. Here is a post service, right? I want to go to the create post. It says but you're taking everything from body, right? So so we are basically going to take the so if I go into the post controller here, looking at it, okay, so we are taking request of body, right? Okay, I need to be able to set up I need to be able to set things up in such a way that I can also pass in the file, so the request of file, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go inside here, and then basically I would create an object inside here, and I'll say body, take everything inside the body, and also pass in file, right? And also pass in the file. So I'm going to say what file. Okay, so what am I going to pass through the file here? That is basically going to be the request of file. So I'm going to give my space and say request of file dot path, right? Now that we've been able to set this up nicely, we can go into the post.route here and then import the parser, right? But no need to actually, we don't have to do any long import or anything. We can basically call it, right? So the parser, call it from Cloudinary.js, and then inside we are going to pass in the image. Okay, since that was how it was inside the model. Where is the the post model? You can see image, right? So, and then that's how you are going to even pass it from the front end as well, right? So image, and I'm basically going to give this space, then we should be set. Now that we've been able to set it up like this, we can go back to our upload post component. But here's the thing, you're going to have to change how you are receiving the data over here this time, right? So how are we going to do that? Now we are going to have to use the form data to handle this. Okay, so what we are going to do is I'm quickly going to go into api.js here, right? And then over here, instead of just creating things straight like this, I would quickly open it up and treat it like a whole new function, right? So here, just close this side here. Let's basically come here and then say const form data, and then we are going to make this a new form data, initialize it. Then we can see we can say that form data dot append. Then inside we are going to first of all pass in the user ID, right? Because when you check inside the component here, when you check inside the model here, see we have to take user ID. So yes, so we are going to pass in the user ID, and then this user ID is going to take in what? User ID here. So we can just say user ID. Then now that we have this, we can come down here and set this form append also to what? To disk. Then we pass in what? Disk. Right, so disk description, right? So now that we have this, I can copy this and paste again, and that is basically going to be our image, and then we are passing in what? Image. So image right here. Okay, then now that we set this up, we can now say const response, right? Now inside this one here, let's make this an asynchronous function. Then over here, I would say that I want to await what? API. I want to await this API dot posts, right? Then I want to quickly inside this one, I want to quickly go to the posts route and then create posts like how we did before. Then over here we are going to pass in the form data, and then we are going to set the headers to be, so I'm going to say headers, and we're going to say what? This is going to be content type, then we make it a multi-part form. So multi-part form data. Okay, multi-part form data. Now that we set this up, we can even send back, or we can even return the response as well. So we can return it, you know, just to do some checks and return it. So I can say res dot what? Data. Okay, right. So now that we have this all set up, we can, so basically what we are looking forward to, right? I want to not format this, right? So I want to just return. Don't worry, I'm not doing anything else, just trying to return without formatting everything, right? So now that we have this, right, we want to make sure that we are passing in the user ID, the desk, right, that's the description, and then the image object, right? So let's do that quickly. So over here inside the upload posts here, you can just clean this object thing that we have here. So how do we get the user ID? We are going to get the user ID from the use context. I'm going to say const empty object use context, and then we are going to take it from the alt context here. Then inside I'm going to say user, right? So over here, the first thing, which is the user ID, is going to come from the user dot what? ID, right? Then the next thing, which is the description, is going to come from this description state. Then the file is going to come from this file, right? Okay, so now that we've been able to set this up, we can basically store this one also in a response as well. We can store this one in a response as well. Then we can log it out in our console, to make sure that it's successful, and then we can even set our toast to be what? Posts. So it's success, right? Post has been uploaded successfully. Then over here you can see that what we can see something like posts upload failed, right? But we just change this to error. Okay, so let's make sure. Okay, so toast is already imported nicely. Okay, let's check my mic. Okay, it works. I would go here, I'll go into the form here, and I'll look for this upload button, and I'll set it, right? I'll say that when I click on this, I want to pass in what? I want to pass in handle post upload. Okay, now okay, but before we do anything, let's come here and then change this side by bringing in accept. Then we can say what? PNG, JPEG, and what? JPEG as well. I think it will be a dot. Yeah, so basically what that allows us to do is it only accepts certain kinds of files, right? So if I go here and I click on this, you realize that it white lists the rest that are not pictures or images, and just allows us to select any of these, right? So let's quickly refresh. Okay, so it looks like the network. Okay, let's go back. Let me scroll down. Okay, looks like we have an error. So it's okay, it says that we treated it as common JS instead of module. Yes, that is true. That is an issue. That is a big issue. Right, so over here you just have to import it really quick. So I'm going to import v2 from Cloudinary, right? Then what I can do is I can quickly bring this down here and then set this. So I can just change this to Cloudinary. Hey, I can set this to v2 instead. Yeah, so I can set this v2 to Cloudinary here, and then I can now use this Cloudinary for whatever I want to do with it, right? So now that I know this, I have to, I think for this side too, we also forgot to add in the values. So let's go to our env file, and then let's pass in the cloud name, pass in the cloud name, the API key, and the API secret. Alright, so when we go back to the browser and we go to Cloudinary here, when we go back to the dashboard, okay, it says can't load data. Okay, that's weird. Let's try to refresh. Alright, so it's here now. I'm going to quickly copy my cloud name, paste it. I'll go to this one, copy the API key. Okay, I'll paste that one as well. I'll go back, copy the API secret. Now come here, come and paste that. Okay, so we have these ones all set up as well. So this one also, we need to be able to import it in a different way. So I'm going to say import, going to import a Cloudinary storage, and I'll cut this out. Then I also import Malta from Malta, and I'll cut this one out as well. So now that we have all these ones, we can check here. It says what? It says, yeah, it says what? Parser is not a function. Parser is not a function. Okay, that is weird. Let me go into the posts route here. It says parser. That was what I basically imported, right? That was what I basically imported. So I'm wondering why. Okay, let's go back to Cloudinary. Still says parser is not a function. Okay, I think I know the issue here. For the parser not being a function, it's true. So I'm going to go here to the post.route here. I'm going to pass in this property. How could I forget this? Single. Yes, and then now it should work just as fine as we want it to. Okay, then over here I'm going to go back to the project and I'm going to refresh. Okay, so you can see that it has been pulled up. I want to go back here. I want to go back to my upload component so that we can see the image being called. We can see the image, right? Or we can see the image file. So here I'm going to simply log out the file, right? We are going to set up a way we can see the image there without having to log out the file first. Okay, but for the meantime, let us just click on this and select an image. Right now you can see that the image is there. So this is a fresh post from me. Then okay, let me set up, I didn't set up a loading state. Say const loading set loading to a use state of false. Okay, so I'm going to say, so for this one I'll tell you what, in case loading is true, I need you to show uploading, but if it's not, I need you to show upload. That's way too many. Okay, upload, right? Then whenever this, so for the disabled property, I want to set that to the loading state, the value of the loading state. Okay, so here we're going to set loading to be true, and then we're going to finally catch it. So set it to be false. Set loading to be false. Okay, once it's successful, I want to set loading to false. Okay, right. Alright, so now that we know this, let's re-upload the image. It's here. This is a fresh post from me. Then I would upload. Set post upload failed. I'm going to check. Must apply the API key. Okay, that's API key. Where is it at? I'm going to go to Cloudinary. Set API key, API secret. Let's check the env. API key, API secret. That was what we took from Cloudinary here. The API key and the secret. So what else is the issue? Let's check back. Supply the API key. Let me supply the API key raw. Let me just paste it inside raw like this. And see. So let's wait for it. Okay. Then I would upload. Still says error. What is the error? Must apply the secret, the API secret. Okay, this is a little strange. Let's apply the secret as well. And then let's provide the name as well. Okay, so now that we have this, we should be able to make the post successfully. What is it saying? Okay, it says connection refused. That is a connection issue. Alright, so the post has been uploaded successfully. If we check the database, we should be able to see the post being there. Right, that's because, okay, so this is the new post here that we have. Okay, so it is here. This is a fresh post from me. Okay, this is a fresh post from me. You can see this one, nicely created with no likes yet. Okay, so when I go into the database, it is about to load up. When I go into the database, I'm going to basically pause the video. The one I come, okay, it's here. Alright, so we can just go into restraints forward. Ask me later. Okay, then I'll go to YT social. Then for the posts here, this it should be the latest post. Okay, I'm wondering why it's not giving us the image field like it's supposed to give us. Okay, so since it's not here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and check the service, the post.service. Okay, I've seen the issue. So here I'm supposed to assign it to the object, right? And we are going to assign it to the image object of the post model, or the image field of the post model, right? Now that we have it assigned, okay, let's make, okay, it has been connected. I want to open up, then I'll say this is a fresh post. All right, then I would add my picture. I'll just select this one, and then I would upload. Alright, it has been uploaded successfully. Now when we look through, you see that the image has been added. When I copy this and then I come and paste, oh no, I want to take this out. I want to click on this one. Let me copy this without the quotes and then I'll paste it. Now you should see this image, right? So now that I've been able to upload it, let's go back to application and then check through to see if it has been updated. Okay, Henry. So Henry says what? This. Okay, Henry says this is new. I'm coming. This is a fresh post from me. I'm looking for another Henry post. But we can basically check the database. So when we check through, you can see it here. This is a fresh post with an image here, right? Okay, so now that we can upload images, before we do anything else, let us go back to VS Code and then check this. Now you realize that we are doing things straightforward here, which obviously isn't safe, right? So the error that we're getting where we kept being asked to supply the API key clearly meant that our project or our server wasn't able to access our project wasn't able to access the env files that we set up in here, right? So what we'll do is we'll basically just import .env from .env, right? Then we'll do what .env config, right? .config. Then close it up. Then over here I would say process .env .cloud name. Cloud name. Alright, now we have this set up. When we go to try to make another post, let's refresh. And yes, one more thing, you realize that whenever we click on upload, it looks like this one still stays with the values inside, right? Now we want to fix that by going into the upload dots and inside the upload post here, and then we say that once this is successful, we want to first of all clean. So we would say what set file to be null after everything is successful. set file to be null, and then set the disk to be what? An empty string. Okay, so yeah, I mean basically that should be it, right? Okay, so I'm quickly going to come and say this is a test post. Okay, then I'll upload the image. You can see it here. Then I'll upload. Alright, it has been successful. When we go through, you can see that it's here. The image is here, right? And then this, when we refresh, you should see that it's here, successful. Okay. Alright, so what we want to do right now is that we want to clean up all these ones that do not have real images and just show the ones that do have real images, right? Let's close this one. Yeah, so what we are going to do is I'm going to go to the database and do that manually for now. So I'm going to delete this one, yeah, then I'll delete this one as well, then I'll delete this one. Which one again? This one. Yeah, this one too. Okay, which one again? This one. And okay, I think I can leave these very few ones for the meantime, because some do have images and some also do not have images, right? So I would say, so what I'll do is I'll go to the post side, right? So the post component here, then I'll come to this, the post pic, right? So over here I can say post dot picture dot pic image, right? Post dot image. So I want to check if there's a post image here, right? So then I'll bring it out. So basically I'm going to go back here and then let's refresh. Right, as you can see, both of these images are showing, but you can see that we have these two broken pictures here, right? So let's fix that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to say that do some checks. Now if only post.image exists, then I need you to render. If only it exists, then render this image components that we have here, right? So copy, so I just cut it out and then I pasted it, right? So we are going to check this post to see if it has an image. If it does, then you can now bring in the image with the post with its image with it. Okay, so when I go back, you can see that now it's not there again, but this one has it. That this one doesn't, but this one does have. Okay, now that is awesome. I want us to create a really nice way whereby we can show the picture below, right? We can show the picture somewhere below for us to see that, okay, so this is the picture that I'm about to upload. Then once we see it, we can now click on upload and then it will upload for us, right? Now how do we do that? Right, so in order for us to be able to preview our images before we upload, we can simply come and create a new state here called, let's say, image preview, or let's just use preview, then set preview, right? Then we can say use state. Okay, so the use state here is going to be set to null as well. Why is it capital? Null. Right, now that it has been set to null, we want to use now that it has been set to null, we want to use a method that we use on the image object or on the file object whenever we want to preview it. Yeah, and that method is called create object URL. Okay, now that we know the method, let's now apply it. Okay, so as you can see over here, when we come into this part, you can see that we have an unchange here, right, sending a file to the target. But since you are doing something multiple, or since you are performing multiple actions, I want us to create a fresh function for it that's going to handle all these things. So I'm going to say handle handle preview, or handle file change, right? So I'm going to say handle file change. Then this handle file change function is going to take in the e as usual. Then inside we are going to say const file, and then this file is going to be equal to the e.target dot files, and then, like as usual, we pick out the first file inside. Then we come here and see what we are setting the file. We are setting the file to be what? File, right? Then we want to check that if this file exists, or once you're able to make sure that this file exists, let's choose our if else. So we want to say what? Once this file exists, let's do something, right? Now what are we trying to do? I want to say const URL, right? Const URL is equal to this big URL here, right? Okay, then we are going to say what? Create object URL. Okay, then you are going to pass in this file object, or this file state. Okay, so the file state that we have, or that variable in general. Now once you're able to pass that, we can now pass set preview to be what? This new URL that we have. Okay, so this URL, it's only this computer that can recognize it for us to be able to use it, right? You can set preview here as well too. So if there is no file, or if no file has been added, we want to set the preview to be what? Null. And we want to make sure that we are setting preview to be null at this side too as well. So once the file is null, preview becomes null. Okay, I think we already made that change here, but you just, for safety's sake, let's just make that change here as well. Okay, so now that we have this, we can now take the file change, handle file change here, and then come to this one change here, and then pass it inside. So handle file change, then right under the input for this one, we can say that in case this preview exists, right? We can say in case this preview exists, then I need you to render the preview here, and that is going to be an image. The image has the src of what? Okay, yeah, mistake, has to be a bracket, right? So the image has the source of the preview, right? Then we want to make sure that we are seeing what? Preview image, or image preview. image preview, right? Okay, then for the class name, you just say width being 50% or 50 pixels, and then we make sure that the height is also 50 pixels. Height 50 pixels. Then what else? We also say that it's rounded MD, so I can just select this one, rounded MD, object cover, and then yes, then I think can give it a nice or just some small margin left of what, 15 pixels, right? Now that we have this all set up, we can now test it again by going inside the browser here, and then we can call an image. So I can basically pick this one, right? So you can see it appear here nicely. So I can say the latest video has been uploaded to YouTube. Then make sure you check it out. Okay, so now that this is set up, wait, let me check my mic. Okay, works. Now that this is set up, I can now do what? Click on upload, and then it should upload. Okay, so it has been cleaned up. Now if I check through, you can see it's not here, but the moment the page has been refreshed, it should appear in no time. Okay, now you can see it's here. The latest video has been uploaded to YouTube. Make sure you check it out, and then you can see the image appear here, nice and clean. Alright, thank you very much for getting to this point of this image upload tutorial part of this series. And then in the next one, we are going to handle some more things like changing your profile picture. So make sure you stay around till then. Thank you.